Evolution of Photosynthetic Pathways by Charlie Nelson. Cyanobacteria were the first organisms to obtain their energy through photosynthesis in environments that lacked atmospheric oxygen. Some studies suggest that photosynthetic eukaryotes arose through endosymbiosis of cyanobacteria over time and the lateral gene transfer between different organisms. However, over time, as these bacteria produced more and more free oxygen as a product of photosynthesis in the atmosphere, there were increased concentrations of oxygen that allowed for multicellular life to appear later on. As you can see here in the graph below, there's an increased presence of photosynthetic organisms over time that result in oxygen or in higher concentrations of oxygen in the atmosphere. The red and green lines indicate the ranges of oxygen concentrations over time. The first photosynthetic organisms arose around 2.4 to 2.5 billion years ago. This great oxygenation event allowed for the rise of heterotrophs or consumers, which used aerobic respiration to use energy from autotrophs such as plants. Also, many anaerobic life forms became extinct due to poisonous levels of oxygen in the atmosphere. Early cyanobacteria used energy trapped from light to form reduced compounds and high-energy intermediates, which were then utilized in anabolic processes. For instance, purple photosynthetic bacteria and ferrous ions, iron, which were oxidized to insoluble ferric salts. Also, green sulfur bacteria used hydrogen sulfide as a source of electrons, and elemental sulfur was discarded as a waste product. Studies indicate that all reaction centers have evolved from a single common ancestor and have a similar protein and cofactor structure. When different cyanobacteria fuse together, the reaction centers develop the ability to oxidize water. 12 of the enzymes that catalyze reactions of the Calvin cycle are encoded by a mixture of nuclear genes of cyanobacterial and proteobacterial origin. Enzymes of central carbohydrate metabolism have involved novel targeting possibilities regardless of their origins, and some organelle-encoded gene products are toxic when present in the cytosol of the cell. This shows that plant cells originated from the endosymbiosis of cyanobacteria and proteobacteria, and the Calvin cycle has its origins from the mixing of their genes and lateral gene transfer. Plants evolved 3 different photosynthetic pathways, and each was a different response to different environmental conditions. This ultimately resulted in plants' ecological patterns of growth and distribution. The ability to gain carbon for growth and reproduction is essential for plant fitness and survival. This is how they make food from carbon dioxide to sugar, and they utilize this sugar in their Calvin cycle. The C3 photosynthetic pathway arose about 2.4 billion years ago, and it's the most widespread type of photosynthetic pathway in photosynthetic organisms, specifically plants. But the competitive edge between O2 and CO2 in the atmosphere causes less net photosynthesis, and because of the solubility of O2 decreases more slowly than that of CO2 with increasing temperature, these types of plants tend to be located in warmer climates. The advantages of this are that it's more efficient than the other types of plants under cool and moist conditions, because less enzymes are needed and you need a less specialized anatomy for the cells compared to the other types. Scientists view higher temperatures as a selective force in C4 photosynthetic pathways. The enzyme PEP carboxylase has a higher affinity for CO2 than Rubisco. The enzyme catalyzes a reaction that results in a 4-carbon acid rather than a 3-carbon acid, and the physical separation of these enzymes results in higher efficiency. The advantages of this are that This photosynthesizes faster than C3 plants and it's more efficient in warmer climates, and it's more water efficient because PEP carboxylase brings carbon dioxide in faster than rubisco. The stomata is open less than in C3 plants, so less water evaporation occurs. The leaf anatomy of a C4 plant, um, it's basically separated into bundle sheath cells and mesophyll cells. The mesophyll cells evolved to incorporate carbon dioxide into organic compounds by making sure that the carbon dioxide concentration stays high enough for the Calvin cycle to occur. So you don't have photorespiration occur. Okay. Now with the CAM photosynthesis advantages, you see that they're more water efficient than C3 plants because the stomata only open during the night, so the water doesn't evaporate. And they even close the stomata during the day or even during the night if it's hot enough. They're usually prevalent in hot, dry, and arid climates, like in the desert, when conserving water is necessary for the plant survival. Here's just a diagram of a CAM photosynthesis pathway. As you see here, the plant is compartmentalized into two separate sections and two separate cycles that occur during the day and night. Thank you.